Let's talk about open source licenses and why you might choose one over the other for your next open source software project. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not a lawyer, so take what I say today with a grain of salt. Let's start out with one of the more popular licenses out there for open source projects, which is the MIT license. This is a very short and simple permissive license with only the condition that the license and copyright notice must be included in the open source work. You can see here you have permission for commercial use, distribution, modification, and private use. So if you want a very simple permissive license to include in your open source software where users of your software can distribute it, make money off of it, use it for commercial use, the MIT license might be the right license for you. If you like the MIT license, another one that is very similar is the ISC license. You can see they share the same permissions, conditions, and limitations. This license is just a tad bit shorter. If you've ever run npm init, ISC is the default license that they use for npm packages. Next, let's take a look at the GNU GPL. So there's numerous versions of this, but today we'll take a look at V2. This one has a bit of a caveat here compared to the ISC or MIT licenses. You can see they share the same permissions, commercial use, distribution, modification, and private use, but the conditions are a little bit different here. So you can see here you must disclose your source, and you can see it says up here, when distributing derived works, the source code of the work must be made available under the same license. So for an example, WordPress is licensed under the GNU GPL v2, and so what that means is if you were to create a WordPress plugin or a WordPress theme, they must also be licensed under the GNU GPL v2 or above because they're derivative works off of WordPress. So if you want to create a software project where you really care about people using the same licenses and having everything be open, the GNU GPL v2 or above might be the right choice for you. Let's also take a look today at the Apache License 2.0. This one is pretty much as permissive as the MIT, but it includes a bit more legal jargon. As you can see, it's quite a lengthy license here. The main difference between permissions of the MIT and this Apache license is that the patent use. So this license provides an express grant of patent rights from contributors. So if express grants of patent rights from contributors is required for your team or project, the Apache License 2.0 might be the right license for you. But I would imagine if that's your case, you may want to talk to a lawyer first before using that. Finally, I've got one more license for y'all that you may want to use for your next software project. It's called the Do What the F You Want To public license. And as you can see here, it's a very permissive, very short license. And the text here pretty much explains exactly what you can do with this license. Finally, if you want a more detailed review of each of these licenses, you can go to this website that I'm using right here called choosealicense.com. This has pretty much any open source software license for you to choose from and gives a great synopsis of all the different permissions, conditions, and limitations that you have per license.